Let's imagine that you are in a crowd of people and you know these people. I mean, some of them are people that you know at work or in the neighborhood, and maybe people at school or from school if you're already out of school. For whatever reason, there's this crowd of people, you know them all. And you've got this little, what do you call it, a drone with a camera on it. And so you send the drone up in the air so you can observe what everybody's doing. Because deep down inside, you feel like you got a little bit of responsibility for these people. Now, not everybody with Asperger syndrome senses this, but what I'm saying is a lot of people with Asperger syndrome do. That is to say, we have this what I call a hovering complex where we need to hover over everybody else to make sure everybody is okay because, well, it's our responsibility. I don't know why we feel this way, but we do. So we are checking on everybody all the time, or we feel responsible for them, maybe not actually bothering these people, but whatever happens, somehow we kind of feel like, and that's part of us, so we're responsible for it. Hovering? Come on. What are we talking about? We need to understand that what we're doing is we are setting ourselves up for disappointment. And one of the things I've noticed about people with Asperger syndrome is they think of themselves as failures. They think of themselves as less than what they should. And the reason is, as I mentioned, they set themselves up for that scenario. And this is one of the reasons, or one of the ways I should say, that they do that. They have this, what I call again, hovering complex. They are feeling responsible to some extent for a lot of other people who are not their responsibility. Okay, your kids are your responsibility. If you have elderly parents, those are your responsibility. Now, you can feel responsible if you want for other people that you know, but you're really not responsible for them. There are some people who are down in the outers and, homeless people. So, yeah, you can feel a little bit responsible for those people, care about them, but you're not responsible for them. That is not your responsibility. But when we feel like that all the time, or we're obsessed with it, and again, not every person with Asperger syndrome goes through this. What I am saying is we set ourselves up to be self-disappointed because we're not taking care of all these people. Something bad happens to somebody, and we feel like it's almost our fault. Maybe not our fault, but maybe if we had been there, we could have maybe not prevented it, but we could have made it a little bit better. Maybe we could have said something or done something. I got to tell you, it's not your responsibility to take care of everybody that you have ever known and people that you may not even know. Not your responsibility. And if you feel like it is, you're setting yourself up to let yourself down. Number two is we displease self to please others. I actually talked about this in another video. We need to keep in mind that we need to take care of ourselves before we take care of other people. All right, now I've mentioned this in several videos, I think, but the analogy that I like to use is when you're on a passenger plane and the steward or stewardess gets up, the flight attendant, and they go through this little spiel about how if, in the case of emergency, an oxygen mask will come down, you put on your mask first, and then you can take care of your children or whoever else you needs your help. So the idea is take care of yourself so that you can take care of other people. One of the problems with those of us with Asperger syndrome, with autism, is we try to take care of everybody else because we have this urge, we have this need, we have this affective empathy. And if we don't do it, we feel bad. We put ourselves down, We have this thing that we start getting really, really hard on ourselves because we're not doing it the way that we think it should be done. Well, the way it should be done is take care of yourself. Then, if you have time and resources, you can then take care of others. We displease ourselves to please others. No wonder we feel let down. No wonder we feel put down. No wonder we feel depressed. Number three is we retreat to ourselves. I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing because people with Asperger syndrome need to get away from the crowd. I mean, a lot of times we need to get alone. We need to be by ourselves. We need to gather our thoughts. I got to tell you, that's a lot better than having a meltdown. But sometimes the way that we deal with pressures and stress in life is to just totally avoid everything all the time. That, I think, may be a problem. Because when we do that, then we feel like failures. We're not a part of the bigger picture. So we are putting ourselves down because, well, we don't just seem to belong. And we even tell ourselves that. Man, I just don't belong, so I'm not going to participate. Uh, Again, reiterating what I said just a moment ago, but that's a good thing to get alone by yourself. I do it all the time. But to do it all the time, I say I do it all the time, I do it occasionally. But to do it all the time, every time, is leading us to a point where we feel like failures. Number 4 is it's okay to say no. I mean, it's okay to help others. I like to help other people. But this is kind of related to number 2 is, where we displease ourselves to help others. You can't do it all. I mean, you just can't. You can't help everybody all the time. There's some people in your life you need to help. They are your responsibility, as we said earlier, but your responsibility is to, well, one person, ultimately. Now, there may be other special people in your life, a spouse, children again. Parents, to a lesser extent, your extended family, your brothers and sisters, maybe even cousins, whatever. You've got some obligation to them, but it's okay to say no if it is doing damage to you. Few exceptions to that rule, not very many. Help other people, it's perfectly okay, but not to your own detriment. Number 5 is know what depletes your emotional energy, because when we feel like we are stressed out, when we feel like that, we've had enough of enough, we just can't take it anymore, that causes us to feel like failures, that, we're doing something wrong here. So what we do is, or what we should do is just don't allow ourselves, and we can't always do this, but don't allow ourselves to get into that position where we are just emotionally deprived. So what is it that makes you feel energized? Stop and think about that for a second. If you were to take out a pen and paper, write down, this makes me feel energized, or this makes me feel energized, or this makes me feel energized, write some of those things down so you have it locked in your brain, and then do those things. Now, it could be something silly, like, do you feel energized mowing the grass? Yeah, probably not, but some people do. I love to mow the grass. I don't know why. It just makes me feel like a sense of accomplishment. So that's something that I do. I like making videos. Gives me a sense of purpose. Makes me feel energized. So that's something I do. And there's things in your life, whether you want to admit it or not, there are things in your life that make you feel energized, that make you feel valuable. And when you engage in doing those things, what you find happening is those moments when you feel like you're just being too hard on yourself, that you have let yourself down and other people down, they seem to dissipate. They're just not there anymore. You see those 2 rectangles on the screen? If you like what you've heard and you want to keep on talking, just click one of those 2 rectangles and the conversation continues. But if not, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see y'all next time.